Welcome aboard, it's Captain G. This is Newblood 14.4, January 1943, Japan. Before we start Japan's turn, the embassy in Tokyo received word that the Kaiser has commissioned a new audit agency in the Netherlands called KPMG, and they did a complete bottoms-up review of all of the incomes. Japan had been reporting 49, but when you count the territories, we trued up to be 47. So that cost Japan 2 IPP cash on hand. The FEC had previously been reporting 11. It's trued up to be 9. So that cost them 2 IPP cash on hand. And Great Britain, which was at 17, turned out they're really at 18. So that added 1 cash on hand to their IPPs. So those are the only 3. All the other totals were validated as they stand. So this turn, Japan has 61, not 63 IPP. We'll do the production after we roll tech. While we're here, Japan is going to go for final stage of amphibious doctrine, red dice at 7. Final stage of jet fighters, white dice at an 8. And still on first stage of large ship construction, also at an 8 with the green dice. Oh, none. Alas, I saw the 2. It's just, all right, let's move on. I do feel better about Mark the Shark only getting 1 out of 4, but I would like us to get something. All right, so production. From the 61 IPP that Japan has after the audit, we're going for 2 medium armor for 12. Japan is expediting a battleship construction. So with improved construction, we're going to pay for 2 phases now, and that will move it to phase 2 of the production chart, and then next turn we'll be able to finish it. We also have Keto Butai. So instead of 6, 6, 6 normal, with improved construction, we're doing 12 and 6. And then with Keto Butai, it's actually 11 this turn, because we still save the 1, and 5 next time. So it's 11 to rush this battleship. We're also rushing for 8 IPP, a light carrier, Lend Lease to Italy. The reason we're able to do 2 units is because we're not finishing the battleship. The battleship will be finished next turn and sent. So we're still only sending 1 per turn to Italy. This was based on a review of the Lend Lease and the phase constructions. Our original plan was Japan has a battleship on phase 2. We were just going to finish it and send it to Italy this turn under Lend Lease, but we realized we cannot. When you start construction of a multi-phase ship or base, you have to announce that you're building it for Lend Lease. So that's why we're doing the battleship in this way. Just so everyone understands the rules as we've understand them and as we've confirmed with some version 4 rules authorities. Okay, so that's 12 for the medium armor, 11 for the battleship expedited, 8 for the light carrier. We're buying 6 infantry for 18. We're buying 2 Marines for 8 and 2 militia for 4. So 12 and 11 is 23, and 8 is 31, and 18 is 49, and 8 is 57, and 4 is 61. The fortification we get for the bonus, we're going to place on wake, and that is free. That's a bonus. Take those off for now. Come back to those as we go into the Japanese turn. Combat. So our first combat from Java, we're sending our strategic bomber 1, 2, 3 into Bengal to bomb Benares, to bomb the 2 Gurkhas. So that'll be 1. The second one, we're sending out the 3 Marines from Calcutta. Oh, this is Benares. What's this one called?
Bengal.
Oh, it is Bengal. All right, so strategically bombing the 2 Gurkhas of Bengal. The 3 Marines are pushing out into Benares to attack the colonial infantry and the infantry there. They're being supported from this task force, which has 3 fighters flying 1, 2, as well as 2 tactical bombers. So 3 fighters, 2 tactical bombers, and 3 Marines against the 2 FEC forces. Now, the air is in an adjacent territory, but there is no air base here, so they were not able to scramble. So it wasn't an option. We didn't reach out to Lancer Bolt. The next one in South India. We are sending from P50, this fleet task force, 1 transport, embarking a Marine from Cochin, China, and an infantry from Sarawak, and using the port bonus in this territory, 1 to P59, 2 to P13, and 3 to P12. And they're landing here in southern India. There is a mountain border around, so they'll be attacking at a 1 the first round. They attack this militia. Additionally, this marker is here because it's the new task force we're forming. Additionally, for naval gunfire support from this task force, we're sending a battle cruiser, the same route. We're going around the long ways, so we don't go past the coastal artillery. 1, 2, 3. So we have a battle cruiser and a heavy cruiser firing naval gunfire support, shore bombardment into this territory. From the island of Java at the airbase, we're flying 1, 2, 1 tactical bomber, and from P50 on the escort carrier, flying 1 on Siam, 2, 3. We're sending a fighter, which has 2 movement left. So that is that battle. And in Tonkin.
Well, from here it can go 1, 2,
2.
and have 3 left.
Oh yeah, for sea zone to territory. So in Tonkin is another battle we're hitting. In this P50 sea zone as well, we're pretty much going to move all the ships. So what I'm going to do is, well, I'll move them first, then I'll put the truckers. So the 2 destroyers in P32 and P15 will each embark 1 Marine. So this destroyer moves 1, 2, 3. This destroyer starts here moving 1, 2. We're bringing 2 Marines from Kyushu into Tonkin. Additionally, we have the transport in P32 moving 1, picking up 2 infantry, 2, 3, because of the port bonus in Taiwan and Nanking, and dropping those 2 off. So that's 4 units going ashore in Tonkin. The P15 Honshu fighter moving 1, 2, 3, 4 will support this battle. And then coming down, the 3 battleships for naval gunfire support. And the 1 heavy cruiser from P32 will move 1. So we'll have 4 naval gunfire support shots. All of them will move on to this task force marker. These guys are not moving until non-combat. So I'm just going to put them in P50 and move this marker down and clean these guys up. All right. The next battle is leaving Borneo, where we have a seaplane base, We are sending our seaplane out to do combat maritime air patrol. They're going 1, 2 into I-16, I believe, to go after that.
P-61.
P-61, thank you. Okay. To go after this coastal sub that's sitting there. Okay. And that is all of our combat, those battles. So let's go ahead and we'll start with the sub attack. Out of 3, it's 1 shot.
11.
Miss. Okay. So he'll return to Borneo in non-combat. Try again next time. All right. Now let's do the strategic bomber. 3 dice at 2 on the 2 Gurkhas.
3, 5, 12.
Alas. Okay. And flying that back to Java. All right. Now let's do Southern India. We have a battle cruiser at a 3, firing gunfire support, first strike.
12.
All right. We have a heavy cruiser at a 2.
12.
All right. So neither of them hit. And then we have let's do the 2 ground units at 1s.
12, 5.
All right. So neither of those hit. Now let's do the fighter at a 6.
1.
There we go. We got him. And the attack bomber at a 7.
1.
All right. So double hits on him. He rolls and defends at a 2.
12.
All right. The Marine is safe. Okay. We can't land the air yet because we need the non-combat for the carriers to move. So we'll come back to that. But Japan goes up 1. And the FEC goes down 1. We'll notify KPMG and the Kaiser's auditors. Now, coming out of Calcutta to Benares, we have the 3 Marines and the 2 FEC. There are no terrain effects between Calcutta and the territory. So 3 Marines at 2.
4,
Okay.
8, 12.
3 fighters at 6.
2, 5, 6.
That's 3 hits, so that takes care of them. Let's roll the 2 attack bombers at 7 for overkill.
8, 9.
Okay, so no overkill, but we got the 3 hits on the fighters. 2 4s in defense. Big rolls.
10, 12.
Outstanding. So no defense from the FEC. I think their fighting spirit is broken. And we'll land the air at the end as well. But that moves Japan a second one up. And the FEC a second one down. All right, we already rolled the strategic bombing raid, or carpet bomb. Now let's do, here we have going ashore in Tonkin. Let's roll the naval gunfire support. So we have three battleships at 4.
3, 7, 10.
That's 1. Outstanding. All right, and then let's just roll the heavy cruiser as the other at a 2.
3.
Okay, so no reason to roll. We got enough overkill. So that is a 3rd one that Japan goes up and the FEC goes down. We didn't have to engage the fighter or, alas, the ground forces. He was in Siam. And this guy is coach in China. All right, so that completes. What's this? That's the cloud for the other guy. That completes all of our combat rolls. So let's go to non-combat. All right, so from I-11, we're going to move 1 fleet carrier up to, let me swap the places of these because this one's on the other side. So from here to there. So 1 fleet carrier is moving up, and the 2 aircraft in, actually, one fighter is going to Java to the air base so he can scramble, and one TAC bomber is landing on this. One TAC bomber from this battle is flying back 1, 2, so he will also land there. So in I-12, that one carrier has the 2 TAC bombers. And I'll recap at the end, so I'll stop recapping until everyone's done. And this TAC bomber will fly 1, 2, and land on this fleet carrier. The 3 fighters are all landing in Calcutta for the defense of that city. Okay. Also from I-11, we already moved the fleet carrier. We're going to send this escort carrier using the port bonus 1, 2, 3, 4 to P50. We're going to send 1 destroyer, 1 to I-12. We're going to send another destroyer using the port bonus 1, 2, 3, 4 to P50. The ships that are in P50 that have not moved, one of them is a transport. And we are going to embark the 2 infantry in Cochin China, so 3 units on strategic naval movement, 1, 2, 3, 4 to this port, and drop off those 2 infantry in Calcutta. Remember, because we have the access to resources bonus, we get that extra strategic naval movement, and that allows us to move the transport with 2 units on it. Okay. Also in P50, we have 1 heavy cruiser that did not participate in any battles, moving 1, 2, 3, 4 to join this task force in I-11. We have 2 light cruisers in P50, 1 each will go to I-12 and I-11 as well. The remaining 2 ships there, one is a transport, and what did I do here? That guy came around. Okay. So one is a transport, one is a light cruiser, or white light carrier, 1, 2, 3, using fleet ports if needed. So we're going to have a transport and an escort carrier in P15. The transport that was in P15 is going to pick up this infantry, 1, 2, 3, and drop him off in Siam. So there are 2 infantry in Siam. The Marine in Cochin China will walk to Siam. So we have 2 infantry and a Marine in Cochin China. The fighter that hit into Tonkin, flying out of Honshu, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into Siam, 6 into I-11, and lands on that carrier. Let's see, I think 3. Now, I think that's all the naval movements. Now let me move.
Well, the sub we want to move over, right?
Where do you want the sub?
1, 2, 3.
Okay. So the sub moved from, where was he here? P43 to P27. Yep. So if you go across and down, he can make it. If you go down and across, he cannot. So make sure you take the right path. All right, and on mainland China, moving into Quichao, we have the mountain infantry and the infantry from Hunan joining that force. We also are going to rail the armor from Rihe to Quichao. And I think that is it. Let me just... Okay, so let me let me place units, then I'll recap. So that completes all of our non-combat moves, all our combat moves. Now we're going to go to place units. So the battleship goes on to phase 2. You move it to phase 2 since we expedited. So that comes off. We don't have to do anything with that now. But we are sending, produced at this seaport in P16, moves down and around, comes up to Suez, comes into M3, and goes into the port in northern Italy. That is the light carrier the Japanese built for them. We're building 1 armor in Rihi, 1 armor in Calcutta, the factory. We're building 1 militia in Calcutta. We don't need a factory for that. Turn him around. Okay. We're building the other militia in Borneo, where the seaplane is. We're building the Marines and 3 infantry in Kyushu at that factory. The other 3 infantry we're building in Honshu. And then the fortification we're building in Wake Island for the bonus. All right, so let me recap the units at the very end in case casual observers don't want to stay for that. Let me just show, I'll talk income and then I'll come back to the recap. So Japan moved up 3, so from 47, they're up to 50. The Far East Command went down 3, so from 9 down to 6. And again, the 3 were the 2 Indian provinces and Cochin China. Those are the 3 that changed hands this term. So Japan's at 50 on income, plus they get bonuses of 6 for the islands, which did not change this turn, and 8 for the islands / China. So that's 14. They're at 64 next turn. So Japan will have 64 cash on hand. Next up will be Lancer Bolt with the UK and France. And then for my fellow players, let me recap quickly because there are lots of moving parts on these turns where everybody is. We'll start on Japan. In Honshu, 3 infantry. In Kyushu, 3 infantry, 2 marines. In P15, 1 transport, 1 light carrier with no aircraft. In Quichao, which changed, we have 3 infantry, 2 mountain infantry, 2 medium armor, a motor rifle, an artillery, and a cavalry. And the other army group, nothing changed. So it's the same as what we had, 5 infantry, 4 artillery, and an armor. In Cochin China, 2 marines, 2 infantry. I'm sorry, in Tonkin, in the northern Vietnam. 2 marines, 1 infantry. In Siam, 1 marine, 2 infantry. In southern India, 1 marine, 1 infantry. In Benares, 3 marines right across the river from Bengal. So if you attack from Bengal, you got to deal with the river defense. And then in Calcutta, in the city, also across the river from Bengal, I have 2 infantry, 1 militia, 1 medium armor, and 3 fighters. In I-11, in this task group, we have a fleet carrier with a fighter, an attack bomber, a heavy cruiser, a light cruiser, a destroyer, and a transport. In I-12, in that task group, we have a fleet carrier with 2 attack bombers, a battle cruiser, a heavy cruiser, a light cruiser, a destroyer, and a transport. In P50, a destroyer, a light carrier, and a transport. And then in P41, in this task force, we have 3 battleships, 1 heavy cruiser, 2 destroyers, and 1 transport. And that is the disposition of forces, or at least the major forces of Japan. This is Captain G for Eggman. Over and out.